Oh shit, we don't have a theme song.
Oh shit, you're right. What are we gonna do?
I don't know. Like, do we have time to buy something?
No, we just have to riff.
We're gonna just riff it.
Oh shit, it's the Nostalgic Front, a podcast from Patrick and Reem. We like movies, TV, and games. Junk food, juice boxes, forgotten things.
Oh wow, that was adequate.
Yeah, that was like pretty good.
Yeah, are we just gonna use it for every episode?
I think we should. I think we have to.
Thank you for listening to the Nostalgic Front. I'm Patrick Hasty.
And I'm Brandon.
Ooh, that was good. I like that.
Yeah, see what I was going for?
Yeah, it's like Batman.
Yeah.
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 What about this? How about this?
Okay.
Na 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 na. Wait.
Homer.
No, wait. What? How's that go? Na 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 na.
Homer.
Brandon. Na 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 na. Patrick.
Oh.
Right?
I get that.
Sick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is fun. We're doing a Batman fun size finally.
We are.
Dude.
We are.
Now, this might be a dumb question
The
for you.
Craped Crusader.
The Craped Crusader.
Yeah.
That can't be him. That's like got to be somebody from like
France.
Baton Rouge or France.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that guy? Who's the guy that throws the cards?
Gambit?
Gambit. He's the Craped
Joker does
Crusader.
too.
I guess you're right. When you're right, you're right.
Yeah, a lot of people throw cards. Gambit throws kinetically energized cards.
You're right.
Uh-huh.
The thing I was thinking about the Batman though, the Caped Crusader, which is what you were saying. I'm actually shocked that we have not done a fun size about Batman yet.
Yeah. Well, we brought it up before.
We've done and we did the what do you call it? The
and some of the
Justice League
ancillary stuff.
I'm gonna let you know you got a little bit of hay in the hair. There it goes. It's gone.
Hair.
We've done some ancillary characters like what?
Or
We've mentioned
stuff
them.
around Batman.
Oh, I thought you meant we'd done a fun size on the Joker or something, and I was like, I don't think that's real. But it's fine.
By Steve Miller.
The Batman. We're finally talking about him.
Yeah.
That's right. You love him.
I'm a big fan. Everybody loves Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not everybody. I can think of the Penguin. Doesn't love Batman. Joker doesn't love Batman.
Joker absolutely
Joker
loves
actually
Batman.
kind of does love Batman. Yeah.
He absolutely loves Batman.
Does the Riddler love Batman?
Yes, they all complete each other. They need Batman.
Yeah, but are they?
And they
aware
wouldn't
of
have even
that?
been around without Batman.
Well, that's true. Yeah, and you know who else they wouldn't be around without Bob Kane? Let's say I read the Wikipedia. Is that cool?
I read the Wikipedia. Is that cool?
I don't think anybody likes that joke.
I fucking love that joke.
No pun in. Don't pun in.
I'm just gonna shut up.
Hey, Leif, you don't pun in either. Batman is a fictional superhero appearing in American comic books.
Fictional.
Oh my
Sorry.
god, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna flip this table over.
Go
Put
ahead.
that cowboy hat back on. Let us see you again. Look at that. Now you're in an alter ego. Batman is a fictional superhero appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics. The character was created by artist Bob Kane and writer Bill Finger, and first appeared in Detective Comics number 20. Okay, Finger's pretty good. That's a good name, right? Hey, Bill Finger, what are you up to? Fingering.
Is there a Mrs. Finger?
Oh, I like that. Now your dad's missing an eye. Is he missing any fingers? He was created in 1939. His original name, Batman, with a dash.
I
in
thought he was
between.
created by Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Well, yeah, but you get what we're doing.
Sorry,
Uh,
we're not supposed to pun over the Wikipedia.
You're right.
Let's start over.
The whole show. The character is also referred to by such epithets as the Caped Crusader, the Craped Crusader. It
That's
says
in
that.
there?
No. The Dark Knight. And the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
Now, they don't use that for him as much
they do.
anymore. But back in the day, that was his big thing. Batman's secret identity is Bruce Wayne, a wealthy American playboy. Now, we all know the story of that. We know the rest. He did. Martha and
I think
Tom.
wealth is implied if you're a playboy, right?
Yeah. Sure. There's no...
What the hell is a playboy anyways? They just throw that word around.
I think wealth is actually a synonym for playboy. Because there's no playboys that are like, making, they've got no money. Nobody works at the grocery store and is known as a playboy, You got to have like all that, all that money, You got to have enough money that you can be a playboy. When did you get into Batman?
So he had a Playboy mansion.
He
So
definitely
that
did.
cave is connected to a Playboy mansion.
Yeah. And the neck bone.
It's connected to the hip.
Yeah.
bone.
Whoa, what fucking body you got?
A hip body. Let's start over.
Look at his head. Look at the way Leif hung his head right there. Do you want to start over for real?
No, I do
at
not.
any moment, you just give the word, and I'll start the fuck over.
All right, let's start the podcast over. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our next guest, Tom Takar.
And then what if Tom just walks in? And,
that was our first episode ever.
oh God, you're doing jokes for nobody.
For me.
Yeah, but
I only do jokes for me.
we have at least 5 times the listeners than just you. That means we have 5 listeners. Right?
Yeah. At least.
Goddamn.
When did I get into Batman?
When did you get into Batman, dude?
Probably. I can't really think of
A time that you didn't
well,
know
maybe
about him?
I liked him from like Scooby Doo and stuff, but and like he was on there a lot. But really, is all the hype surrounding one of the biggest commercially successful films of all time.
Yeah,
Burton's Batman.
Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah, because the lead up to that, the hype was, especially for a kid of 7 years old, 6 years old, whatever the hell age I was. I think it was 88 or 89.
It was 89.
Yeah, 89 Batman. So I was like 7, you know, and like, oh boy, the hype was palpable.
It was everywhere.
Yeah.
It was everywhere.
They brought back Batman's the 60s
Well, see, that's,
show, and they were that was on TV all the time.
That's
leading
my
up to
first reference point. Was the 60s cartoon, or the 60s show, not cartoon, the live action show with Adam West and Burt Ward, because that's the show. My dad watched that when he was a kid, so my dad knew all about it. Like, there's certain.
Isn't it funny that Burt Ward played Batman's young Ward?
Whoa! Yes, that is insane.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't it crazy that Adam
Didn't
West
I sound like the Penguin for a second there?
lived on the west coast of the United States?
Whoa! But he was the mayor of a town on the East Coast?
Wow! And now he's dead.
So
All right, we're doing good now.
Adam South.
Yeah. Adam Dirt. Adam Duritz, the lead singer of Counting Crows.
I thought that was Christopher Robinson.
No, that's the Black Crows.
Who's Craig Robinson?
That's Hot Tub Time Machine. Keep going.
Who's Christopher Robbins?
Winnie the Pooh. Go.
Who's Christopher Cross?
Singer.
Yes. Christopher Columbus.
Sailor. Which is confusing because Christopher Cross was sailing as well.
No, you're wrong. He's the guy that made Home Alone.
Oh, shit. Director.
2.
Also.
Macaulay Culkin.
Home Alone!
No, he's from the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Wow, I don't know what that game was, but it was really fun.
It was fun. We
was
should play more games.
We need to play more games.
Speaking of
God
games,
damn.
did you ever play Batman on NES?
Good game.
That's one of the best.
Yeah.
I will put it on the record. Leif, don't stop.
Make sure this goes on the
Don't
record.
stop recording.
Also, don't stop believing, but that's a side thing.
The fucking Batman on NES, one of the best licensed video games on
any project
on the entire generation.
Of any project. If you guys noticed any camera issues right there for the viewers, Leif hit the camera for Reem without paying any attention or giving a shit at all, really, which is what we want out of our producers.
Hey, are you guys still here? Oh, I'm so sorry.
He's the Alfred Pennyworth.
All right, let's take it from the top.
Thank you. Leif, you like Batman?
Oh man, I grew up on Batman. I love Batman so
Yeah,
much.
big fan.
Huge part of my
What was
development.
when you think? Okay, this is an interesting question. When you think Batman, what's the first thing that you think of? What iteration of it?
Oh, the animated series.
Animated series for you. What
100%.
about you?
It's either Tim Burton's Batman or I was also at a very young age I would watch the Adam West.
Me too. That's what I think of.
like right after school.
Even though I don't care,
the animated series is after school for me.
Yeah.
All the time.
The Adam West one isn't. It's not my favorite in the series, but that's what I think of when I think of Batman. And I immediately think of that. And some of those phrases like the same bat time, same bat channel. That's the thing we say all the time. Dinner tonight, same bat time, same bat channel.
Holy rusted metal, Batman.
Yeah. And then remember when they call that back in Forever? Where
Yeah,
it's like, holy rusted, and they're like, what the fuck? And he's like, well, it's full of holes and it's rusted. It's metal.
Batman Forever, not as bad as people think.
No.
Because Batman and Robin is so bad. Also, Batman and Robin, not as bad as people think.
Yeah.
Because it's just so funny and dumb and stupid and over the top.
This might be a fun thing. So we kind of talked a little bit, and the animated series, which I had said on the show before, I wasn't really into, and then I rewatched it all recently, and I love it.
You mean you watched it all?
Well, yeah, but I had not just watched it.
You can't rewatch it if it was your first time through.
No, but I watched it all, and then I would rewatch episodes over and over.
Yeah.
So like I spent probably the last month or 2 months, like going through the whole series. And I really enjoyed it. And there's some episodes I really loved. Some episodes I wasn't as when it later on it becomes like there's some episodes I did, but there's that episode with the gray spear,
The Gray Ghost.
The Gray Ghost is one of
With
the
Adam
best,
West.
Yeah, that's one of the best episodes of television ever. Like I don't understand how that's not talked about.
That
and
fucker won Emmys, dude.
Yeah. But here's I think this might be interesting. I'm gonna go down. I have all of the movies, all the films that have ever been released with the Batman series, and I want to talk to you if you guys have seen them. Leif, feel free to chime in if you want.
I'm a nerd because 2 of my favorites are like.
Well, don't spoil it.
All right,
here.
I'm not.
So Batman from 1943, which is what I mentioned in the Bronwyn episode. Have you seen it?
No, I have.
It's a serial. It was
but
serial
with riff tracks. Because they got riff tracks doing it, and it's really good.
Yeah, and it got really popular because of that.
Yeah.
On YouTube right now, NFers,
Which,
anybody who wants.
by the way, riff tracks is
Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. The guys, the Joel, or not
And
the Joel, the Mike cast.
Yeah.
They do it. They do Mystery Science Theater for everything.
And
pretty much.
there are tons of
and
them
there's
on
really
Amazon.
good ones. Yep.
There's a bunch on Amazon. It used to be a podcast.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to.
But anyways, because of that, that's what brought these out to the light now. And right now on YouTube, you can go watch this one and the sequel, which came out in 49.
The what?
The sequel,
Okay.
which came out in 1949, which has in so much Batman fashion, completely different cast.
So much Batman fashion. He's got a cape. He's got a mask.
He's got
a
a
utility belt.
But it came out in 49, and those are both so good. And they're serials like they used to run on in the theaters before movies.
I remember
or on
Batman
Saturday
cereal.
All right. Yes.
Cereal
has multiple. It's a homophone.
They came with.
Let's
remember
move on.
Remember when we did the cereal episode, and then you played that intro from This American Life cereal with us talking about cereal. It was
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Go listen back to that.
was a good
I'm
one.
good with editing.
You are.
You know it.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, these are really great. Go watch them. You'll be surprised right away how quick you fall into it because
What was
the
next?
storyline hasn't changed so much.
Batman the movie.
Don't let me run this.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Asking a question.
Just like at the top of the show last
Inquiring.
week, you're pushing ahead. I don't know what you got to go do out there. You're
Pushing ahead?
you probably
What am
got a
I, in
text.
labor?
Somebody probably wants to sell you weed, I assume, and you got to hurry up out of here.
No.
Next one was, so we had 43, then we had 49, then we had a good couple of years without any Batman films, and then all of a sudden, 1966, Batman the movie. Now,
Probably
that's
because of the comics code and everything that happened.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, comics weren't that big in the 50s, relatively speaking, because like after the war or whatever.
Yeah, well, they sold...
I'm trying to
yeah.
remember all the...
Well, so the comics... So Superman was the first big hero. Then they started Batman right afterwards. And then Wonder Woman came out. And then those were kind of the big three for years.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the other comics were a lot of stuff like Wolfman, a lot of gore, a lot of pulp... like
Archie.
Yeah. Well, Archie...
That type of stuff, yeah.
But it was more a lot of like more dark and morose stuff too was happening. Yeah. And then that's when this guy, this like psychiatrist in the McCarthy area, wrote this book where basically he traveled the country and talked to like children.
Something about the words like
you,
something like the disintegration of youth was the name of his book.
Do you know about this, Leif? This guy wrote this book, this psychiatrist, where basically he talked to all these like juvenile children and like insane children, and found that a correlation between them all was that they read comic books. So then it's like, he's like, well, then comic books must be terrible.
Yeah.
And he wrote
they also drank water.
Yeah.
So everybody that drinks water.
Exactly. He wrote about how Batman and Robin were homosexual.
Yeah, that's why we got Batwoman.
That's why
Batgirl.
And Catwoman started becoming more prominent and stuff.
Uh-huh.
All this stuff. But anyways, this scared a lot of people, so this kind of killed the market for a little bit. And that's when the union...
Comic Code
came... Or
Comic Code.
Where you would send a comic book before it was published. They had to be okayed by the code. It was kind of like the MPAA.
Yeah.
But so that was the thing for a while, and then you know me,
I do know you. We run a podcast together and everything.
We didn't get into the comics, but the Batman had all these years with the Detective
We
Comics.
get into the comics every week. We bring them on and we talk about their.
I'm gonna buy you a shirt that just says homophones on it.
I don't know
Also,
what that
I
means.
just learned that word this week. It's when like two words have. I was watching Jeopardy. It's when two words have the same meaning. You know, like cereal and cereal, or comics and
I
comics.
got a Hama flip phone.
Okay, I'm back.
Why do they call them flip phones? I can't sell these fuckers. Resell them?
Reese Witherspoon, was she ever in a Batman movie? We'll find out. So
Batman 66.
That's the movie that is based off the series.
Yeah.
That's
It's
so
really
fun.
good. It's got all of the bad guys in it
yeah.
and bad girls.
Bad girls. Ooh, I love bad girls.
Bad girl. And then it's also got the classic shark repellent.
Yeah,
Joke.
and that's like right at the top.
Yeah.
That's the first joke of the movie.
Yeah, it's one of the best jokes. He's
Yeah.
climbing the ladder and he's like, "Get me the shark repellent."
Yeah, and
then
that's the rubber shark that's obviously like,
yeah,
glued to
it's
his
really cheesy.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
great.
it's
It's so
like
good.
it's the camp.
And apparently that's a reflection of the Batman comics at that time was really campy in the 60s too, because Batman, whereas the comics were all really important during World War II, in the 60s, like during like Vietnam and stuff, they weren't doing
they're not
social
serious.
commentary. They were doing like jokes and a lot of like weird space shit.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's also around
like
the
you
same
can find
time-
all the weird shit like Superman was
Yeah.
doing in the Silver Era.
Yeah.
Batman. That's what it's called. You got your Golden Era.
Yeah.
That's the original stuff when he still used a gun every once in a while. And you got your silver. This is my understanding.
I always worry
And
that I'm not gonna get any Silver Era.
That's why I love
fell
Batman: The Brave and the Bold so much.
It's great.
Is because it's based
cartoon.
on Silver Era Batman.
And
And then that's the type of Batman that's going to be like telling you tips about crossing the street
yeah,
in between
And it's fun, yeah.
punching somebody out.
So Batman 66, we both seen it, we love it. You seen it, Leif? That's great. It's on Amazon. You can go watch it right now. It's
Yeah.
so good. Then we got the big one, 89, the one you love.
Oh,
the
yeah.
one that I thought was the first movie I saw in the theater, and now I realize it's not. But Batman.
It's the first
Michael
one I
Keaton.
can like really remember.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's some
I 100%
cartoons I'm
remember
forgetting
seeing it in
about.
the theater. I remember all the fast food toys, like the,
Oh, yeah.
the Batmobile car that you would get.
Well,
and
like I said, it was
the
one of
Catwoman toy?
It was like one of the first like full on across the board pushed like products
Yeah.
with the movie
Yeah.
because they're like learning the after the fact like, oh man, we should add a Ghostbusters cereal
For
when we
sure.
put out Ghostbusters.
so it had everything.
You know.
And it also had the benefit of being cool.
Yeah.
Like Tim Burton was a cool director.
Well, it was also a big part of it was the Batman's whole image was
Yeah.
changed from what's arguably one of the biggest, most famous comic books ever written.
The Dark Knight, the
Yeah.
80s
Dark
comic
Knight Returns,
from,
the Frank Miller
Frank Miller.
one, where they were able to like make like, no, these are actual people with
Yeah.
like psychological
And
problems and like, you know,
Frank Miller's the one who
because
made
they were breaking out of the silver age
yeah.
mold
Prior
a little
to
bit
that,
more.
what I learned
Because he also did that with like Daredevil.
prior to that, that's where he got to start with Daredevil. But prior to Frank Miller,
Yeah, he was like-
Batman and Superman were always like pals, and he's like, "There's no way these two people would get along. They have totally different ethos."
Yep.
And so that's why since then, and all of the stuff we like afterwards, the Justice League cartoons and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Batman and Superman are always kind of they're not enemies, but
Yeah, they have
butt
like a
heads. They
strained
fight
friendship.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Also, Mom's the same name.
Martha.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
so dumb.
That movie. Oh.
One of the
We'll
worst.
get to it.
One of the worst movies ever.
But
Or-
when I
Yeah,
got
go
to
ahead.
see that Batman in theaters,
The first
my,
one,
yeah, my
89.
parents were like, "Of course, this will be great. He loves
Yeah.
superheroes. We're gonna go see it. It's gonna be great." And like within 20 minutes, they were like, "What the hell
Yeah.
have they done?" Like,
Yeah.
I was way too young to
Yeah.
just be in the theaters.
But
And
you
it's
loved it.
so,
Oh,
it's
I
good,
loved
but
it.
it's so scary.
yeah, but
Yeah.
visually,
Visually.
it's so
Oh,
like
so
yeah.
good.
I mean,
Uh,
Tim Burton's visuals throughout that entire era
Yeah.
like shaped a lot of kids' minds.
I think
yeah.
I like
mean, from
three-
Large Marge to
Yeah.
fucking
I like
and Pee Wee
Tim Burton
Herman and
things, I think.
oh yeah.
I
What?
think three. I think the first Pee Wee Herman.
yep.
Oh,
Early Tim Burton, I'm all about.
I guess I consider both Batmans.
What about
together.
Beetlejuice?
And Beetlejuice? Yeah, I guess I consider the Batmans together because Returns I also really like.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else, like even Edward Scissorhands, not for me. And then later on, Big Fish is fine, but not for me. And then
Yeah.
after, I never have any connection to
All
the-
that, the ones that we just named
Yeah.
are great. I could probably go through the discography
I don't
or
have a
the
connection
filmography
to,
and be like, okay, that's fine.
I don't have a connection to Nightmare on Before Christmas. But
Well, he
people
didn't
love
really
it.
direct it.
I really.
He didn't
enjoyed
direct
You
it.
love it. Yeah.
I love
He's-
that.
You're a god.
He just produced it, so it doesn't. It's not really
yeah.
a Burton.
No,
thing.
I thought it was. I thought they called it a Tim Burton movie.
No, just call it Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, but he didn't like write it or
Who
direct
directed it?
Somebody
We'll
else.
find out some other time. So the Batman Returns, which I also think is great, even though I think at the time it didn't do as well money-wise.
And
but
then my
also
favorite.
very good. What's that?
Then one of my favorites.
You love Batman Forever.
No, the next one.
From Batman to Batman and Returns? Oh, are you talking about the Mr. Freeze movie?
No, I'm talking about Mask of the Phantasm.
Mask of the Phantasm. Oh, I don't know. It's not on my list. It's not on the Wikipedia for coming out as a film from that time. Maybe it's mixed in with the animated series because it's also not.
Well, 93 is going to be in between there. Batman, Mask
sure,
of the
well, tell me
Phantasm.
about Mask of the Phantasm.
You know about they
I haven't
don't.
seen it.
It's the film that they made based off of Batman the Animated Series.
The only
it got
film-
a theatrical release.
Oh, I thought the Mr. Freeze movie got a theatrical release.
Uh-uh,
Oh,
no.
I don't know shit then.
You
I
don't?
haven't seen Mask of the Phantasm. I don't know.
You have to watch Matt.
I think Phantasm might be one of those early. Is Phantasm a bad guy?
It's one of the best animated films ever made.
Is Phantasm a bad guy?
Yeah.
Is it a character?
Yep.
I think that might be the bad guy in one of those 1949 movies. Might have been
No.
Phantasm.
No,
No?
Phantasm was made for that movie. And you see why if
Sure.
you watch the movie. There's
I will.
some definite spoilers,
I
so
guess
I'm
I
not
just
going to
don't
go
know.
into
Yeah, don't
it.
go into it.
And
But I'll watch
also, Hamill as the Joker is so good in it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's one of the few
undeniable.
Batman movies. It's kind of funny since it's technically a kids movie since
Yeah.
it's animated, but it's one of the few Batman movies that ever try and tackle the question, what if Bruce Wayne fell in love?
Oh, who do you fall in love with in it?
Girl?
No, but not Vicky Dale or. any of
No,
these.
no, a girl that was made for the movie, and it's one of those things where it's like he's so into being Batman, and then he didn't expect to fall in love.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's dealing
I
with
think-
that as well.
I think
And they're
this-
they're doing like multiple timelines
Mm-hmm.
in it at the same time, and it's like I said, it's one of the best animated, in my opinion, is one of my
and it's
favorite.
animated by the same house that did the animated
Yeah,
series.
yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta
It's
watch it.
it's a direct, like,
Film adaptation of that.
yeah, yeah.
I realize. I think the list I have is live action. That's why it's not showing up on my thing. But then Phantasm, and then Forever, which we talked. It's fine. I like Chris O'Donnell's Robin. Actually, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Batman and Robin, same thing. George Clooney was fine. I like Val
It's
Kilmer.
a
I thought
it's
that was
a
good one.
fun hate watch, not even a hate watch.
No.
You just get to see how bad it is.
Yeah, if it
you
was
know?
on TV, I would watch it. If it was
It's
on
still
TV, that's what I have to do.
visually
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
You know, bat nipples and all.
And then there was a break from '97, which we had the
Yeah, because
Mr.
I
Freeze
mean,
movie.
it's an objectively bad movie, but
Yeah.
you can still get entertainment
Yeah,
out of
yeah.
watching it. But the Nolan
The
trilogy,
Nolan ones are great.
Yeah,
There was the break, and then they did
Batman Begins.
Saw the theater.
FX was built on Sunny and Batman
Well,
Begins.
they have the movies.
Yeah, but it used to be we have the movie,
Yeah.
and it was
It
Batman
was
Begins.
Yeah.
Every fucking night of the week.
Yeah, I like Batman Begins a lot, and it was one of those things where the funny thing is because I'm not a super nerd, and especially before the show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love what I love, but I wasn't. But Batman Begins, I was like, oh, this is great cinema because I
Oh, yeah.
loved that guy. I love Kristen
Bell.
Christopher Nolan.
I always get Christian Bell mixed up with Kristen Bell.
Do you really?
Uh-huh.
You're always like, which one was Batman and which one was Veronica Mars?
Yeah, which one was Batman? Which one was married to Dax?
Yeah, yeah. Who was the Dark Knight and who was the Good Place?
And that movie also, like,
Batman Begins?
yeah, Batman Begins is also like what kind of got the new, like, this generation of superhero movies. Like,
Yeah.
they started pushing it.
Well, we can debate that.
I'm gonna say Spider-Man.
Yeah, and X-Men
'cause-
before it.
Well, Spider-Man way
Spider-Man,
more so than
yeah.
anything.
But
Because
yes, you're
Spider-Man,
correct.
yeah.
For
But-
DC, yes.
They brought him,
But I think it ruined or at least DC, because they were like, well, everybody likes the Nolan
Yeah.
one, so we got to have this edgy,
Yes.
like, darkness
It
That
ruined DC.
tint, because they're like, well, this is why people loved Batman movies so much, so we're gonna make a Superman that feels like Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
And it was
Rain,
just-
quit screaming at Leif, would you? I'm just kidding. What were you saying?
No, I
You fucking
brought to you
dipshit.
by Eclipse.
I can't do a podcast with you. You didn't even pay attention.
I did
my
too.
bit.
You did the visual gag.
I did. Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say because that the Christian Bale ones were very much like, hey, there is fault in these superheroes, and
Yeah.
I feel like even though you're right, like Spider-Man was, I think, huge and also
Yeah.
started pushing Marvel, but outside of Spider-Man, there wasn't a lot going on. They tried a couple others, they
Mm-hmm.
were great. But I feel like with Batman made that. I mean, it started and also killed DC because now they're
Oh,
trying
for
to do it
sure.
with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it pushed Marvel a little bit, like nudged it over.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
for
yeah.
sure.
Well,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
look
yeah.
at like Phase 1 of
The
the
success
MCU,
of- he's right.
nothing there is like anywhere close to as good as like the Dark Knight.
No, but
I
I
agree.
bet he's right because 05 and 08, the success of Batman Begins, and then especially The Dark Knight, that is what the wave that created is what launched Iron Man. And I mean, I know those movies were already in production and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think as many people would have gone to see Iron Man if they hadn't already seen The Dark Knight the summer before, you know?
Yep.
It really like highlighted like a lot of like human flaw, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's also what I love about Marvel.
I mean, that's also like one of the big differences between Marvel and DC anyways,
Yeah.
is Batman excluded, a lot of the DC like big people are gods,
Yeah.
basically.
Exactly,
You
yeah.
know, they're flawless gods. Meanwhile, Marvel has always been rooted in like, especially the movies now, like the character.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you want to see Tony Stark and his flaws
Yeah.
and
You
You wanna
everything
see,
like that.
drunk and angry.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And that's one of the problems
I
with Man of Steel is they're trying to give flaws to Superman,
Superman,
and it's like
I hate it.
It's the
Oh,
worst.
yeah.
I don't.
It's the worst.
When did I know this is?
that's why they learned their lesson with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Wonder Woman was so
Great.
great.
Yeah,
I really thought it was like, oh, DC had, but then it.
What's his
oh.
fucking?
her flaw was
Who's that?
fish out of water, and it was great.
Who's that guy?
Well, as far as like social,
Yeah.
Who's that guy that
Batman.
is directing those?
oh,
What's his name? Zack Snyder. That fucker.
well, he's not anymore.
No, but he's the. I mean, I cannot believe they keep making these DC movies. The DC.
Well,
Because DC is great, and there's so much there. There's a new Justice League cartoon out that I just saw. It's on Netflix now. I don't know when it's from, but it's fucking great. And it's like and Arrow is great, and I haven't seen The Flash, but people say The Flash is great. There's
really
so much
is.
good stuff in there, and they're still churning out these shitty movies. Like I was just trying to think the other day, like the Flash movie, they're still moving forward with it and stuff like that. The Shazam movie looks great, but I just hope that they can rise above all this shit because
Yeah.
I mean.
Well,
Justice League was terrible. Suicide Squad.
Suicide
was
Squad,
terrible.
Justice League, and Batman v Superman are like three of the worst. Like,
Yeah. And they're
made by
a major house.
or I'm just made by committee.
Oh,
Superhero
sure.
movies
Yeah.
that are out there, and you can like totally see all the production shit
Yeah.
that happened to it. Like,
And also just the universe stuff. Like, I feel like what's his name? Tim Burton. It was
Yeah.
great at creating this interesting looking universe,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I think that Christopher Nolan was just like, this is our world. It just looks like us. It's
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. It looks like our world. And then now fucking Snyder is like a weird like everything looks terrible. Nothing
It does.
looks
Oh,
right.
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
even said, like, when they were doing it, like, as far as the aesthetic, he wanted the superheroes to be, like, insanely jacked. And I remember there was a couple shots that were very very beautiful
Yeah.
in Batman vs Superman. But then if you look at them, just like it just didn't. It looked so dumb.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
too big, and it seemed unnatural. And like I get it, they're superheroes, whatever. But it's like. The humanist element is
Mm-hmm.
important. Also, Superman doesn't need to be jacked. He is super powerful.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
It's like it's so weird. All those movies. I did love Dark Knight Rises. I thought it was. And people didn't
Yes.
like it as much as Dark Knight, but it's kind of hard to compare.
Well,
to
it's
one of
'cause
the
it's-
greatest
Rises
ones.
was so.
Yeah.
That's the one with the Joker.
No,
it's the one with
Dark
Bane.
Knight Rises is the one with Bane, the last
Oh
one.
yeah, that was.
But Dark Knight
fine.
Rises had it. I think it's fun. I think it's great, but it had a lot of things going against it. It had
Like
to
Hines
be,
Ward.
It had to be better than Dark Knight Rise. It had to be better than the Dark Knight. It had
Yeah.
to be better than the Joker. It
Had to be better
that.
than, and it had to be better than
And-
the Avengers.
And it had to be better than having a mass shooting happening opening night.
Yeah.
It had to rise above all these things. So it was like,
yeah, normally the shooting happens before the movie.
okay,
released.
you know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
But it's just like it had so much that it had to combat at the beginning that I think it was fucked. But I bet if you just watch it,
And
there's people who probably didn't like it at the time, but I bet if they watched it today, they'd be like, oh, this is great. Especially in comparison to what came after it. All this stuff after
what,
it.
the Avengers?
The Ben Affleck stuff.
Oh.
No, all the Ben Affleck stuff, you know? And I like Ben. I
think
argued
Ben
for
Affleck's a good
for a long
Batman,
time,
but they haven't given him shit to do.
No. And I think now that they finally are,
we
he
have a
doesn't wanna do
Batman
it.
that's over 6 feet tall and has a swell cleft chin. Mm-hmm. You know?
It's so weird. Have you seen the stuff about how they're making another Joker movie now too?
Yeah.
With is it Joaquin Phoenix? I think that sounds like the most interesting thing that's come out of this DC universe.
Definitely not Aquaman.
Oh God, it looks so bad. You know he's from Des Moines.
No, he's from Norwalk.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but he's from Central.
Well, he's
Iowa.
actually from Iowa.
Yeah, he's from
I
Central
work.
Iowa.
One of my buddies that I work with, like, hangs out with him and Lisa when they come to Norwalk.
Who the fuck's Lisa?
Lisa Bonet, his
He's
wife.
married to Lisa Bonet.
Yeah.
He's the new. Are you gonna go my way?
Yeah.
No shit.
Uh huh.
That's insane. He's like the same age as her daughter.
Yeah.
Do you know this? I don't. This is groundbreaking.
Yeah, Khal Drogo is married to what's her name? Vanessa Huxtable.
That's crazy.
From
I love it.
From a different world, starring Sinbad.
Well, he's from a different world. He's from the ocean. But I don't know. I'm just
Whoa, different world. You know what comedian is in that TV show? Sinbad. She is married to Aquaman. We could have a Sinbad Aquaman crossover.
You know, there's a
Sinbad
new show.
and the Seven Seas.
You know, Lil Rel's got a new show coming out. I think it's called Rel, maybe. But Sinbad plays Lil Rel's dad. How fucking good is that going to be?
Kinda love
Two of the
Sinbad.
funniest people on earth are going to be in the same TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Mwah.
There's going to be some wind getting broken there.
Yeah, and
They were
if somebody
windbreakers.
wants to, I'd love to write for a show. Okay, so that's basically it. We kind of that's all the films. You know, there's the Justice. We don't need to get into
And there's
that.
also all of the, DC animated is always
well,
really
that's
good.
I tried to. It's hard to
Yeah.
even get a list. Of
Well,
all
there's
those.
so many of
There's-
there.
and there
Doom is really good.
Doom
That's
is great. There's the Killing Joke is great. And there's also
it's-
you didn't like Killing Joke. Killing Joke's weird because the first half is like him just fucking Barbara on a roof.
Yeah.
That's the one that I watched on a plane. And I'm like watching Barbara in a bra, and I'm like, come on, what is happening here? You know?
And you're like, all right, keep doing this.
I gotta whack my cock off on this plane. I got this lady reading the newspaper next to me. I'm trying to come.
Yeah, I got animated bras.
Yeah. I hit the
I
button.
figured she would have worn like a black sports bra. You
She's
know,
like,
if you're gonna go with that.
The flight attendant comes by. He's like, hey, what can I get for you? And I'm like, tomato juice, please. I just like a tomato juice on a plane. It doesn't have anything to do with the cum.
I like a club soda, and then I like to take a photo of me drinking it, and then I'll put the caption "Mile High Club" when I drink my club soda on the plane. Also,
I also just noticed, I don't know if you guys can see down here, but we're influenced. Our logo that Nostra gave us is
Totally.
the Batman logo.
totally.
Never even thought about it.
Yeah.
You know, or it's influenced by Batman, you know?
I'm also the Batman the
yeah.
Animated Series. Batman the Animated Series obviously had a lot of great spin-offs with the Justice League, but also Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of talk that they might make a Batman Beyond movie, but there's there's already a good Batman Beyond movie out there, Return of the Joker, which
yeah.
brings back Hamill.
It's really good.
It's real good, yeah.
It's really good, and it's got all like a lot of the young Justice-y type people in it, like a lot of the children of, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read this fast because I just found this, but this is the animated films featuring Batman, starting with '93. So I'm
Okay.
just gonna read you all these. If
Yep.
you say something, just pop it off. Phantasm, we talked about.
Yeah.
98 is Sub-Zero.
Theatrically released.
Sub-Zero is the one that I was talking about.
Uh-huh. That's solid, but it's...
Yeah. Return of the Joker is the one you just mentioned. That's the Batman. Oh, fuck. Do you know who does the voice of Batman Beyond? The kid of Batman in that?
I'm going to know
Okay,
once you
I'll
say
give you a
it.
hint. Last names, we know him famously to have the last name Matthews.
Corey?
He's got a younger brother.
Oh, yeah, it's the older brother from...
Yeah. Will Friedle. He Return of the Joker. Then there's Mystery of the Batwoman. Okay. Batman versus Dracula, which is fine. It's not bad, but it's from the Batman series. Under the Red Hood, which you love, right?
Yeah.
Is that the one you were saying? Year One.
yeah, that's definitely one of the best ones.
Year One is great because Year One is got what's his name? Breaking Bad is Commissioner Gordon in it. Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1.
And that's a really good relationship anyways. Year one is a lot. It's almost like a Commissioner Gordon origin story.
Yeah, which I wonder if that had anything to do with Gotham getting made, you know? There's The Dark Knight Returns and Part 1 and Part 2 where Batman's voiced by Peter Weller. So fucking RoboCop's in here doing stuff. There's
Your move, creep!
Son of Batman, Assault on Arkham, Batman
Son of
versus
Batman's
Robin.
pretty good with Damon Wayne.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Damian Wayne.
Damian Wayans, yeah.
Not Damon. Did you know Batman's kid's Damon Wayne?
There's the three these just got on YouTube recently. I highly suggest these. Batman Unlimited. Have you heard of this? It was a toy line, and then they made some movies to go along with it. And so it's literally old school backdoor. They made a bunch of toys, then they made 3 movies. There's Batman Unlimited, Animal Instincts, Monster Mayhem, and Mechs vs. Mutants. And it's to sell toys. So fucking every character's in there.
Now,
it's so good.
We touched on it just a little bit earlier in the show, and I just want to make sure you've seen enough of it. But you've watched Batman: The Brave and the Bold, right?
Yes, but I watched it because it was on Netflix for a while, and I went through all the episodes once.
Yeah.
But I can't pull it. Is that hold on? Is that
That's
the one that
Diedrich Bader?
Diedrich Bader. Yeah, yeah.
And like
Loved
the
it.
voice, the guest voices. If you went through there, they got like everybody. Everybody's done it.
Was it Nickelodeon or was it?
It was
it's probably
Cartoon Network.
right? Because
Yeah.
it reminds me of, and it's not the same kind of animation style, but it reminds me of that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon I watched.
Yeah.
The 3D
It's
animated
so
one,
funny
where
and so
every episode
fun.
has like guest stars.
Yeah, 100%.
crazy.
It's if you went
And they
through
did
the people
there's an
that
arc-
did voices for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an arc where he goes back in time and he has to fight with Bat Lashes and who's that guy that I always forget
There's
his
a
name?
lot of good arcs.
Guy with the
There's
his
a
face is all chopped
there's
up.
a Space Ghost crossover episode
Yes, and that's so
on
good.
there, and there's a one where he goes to the alternate dimension,
Yeah.
where everybody's evil.
Yeah.
So
There's a great movie
It's
of that.
Owlman.
Yeah.
Versus, and then the Red Hood, who is
Yeah,
actually
yep.
like that timeline's Joker, winds up being the hero that fights against the Injustice League.
If you're those are all great, but what that reminds me of is all those Hulu ones, which I was kind of talking about. Like there's like the Killing Joke, Batman and Harley Quinn is great, but has like a lot of cum jokes in it, and like it's so weird. In Batman and Harley Quinn fucks Dick Grayson, who's Nightwing.
Yeah.
They fuck each other, and then Batman finds out, and Grayson's like, "Well, come on, like you never fucked a bad guy." He says something like this, like you never fucked an enemy, and you're like, "Oh,
Oh.
I love it."
Uh-oh.
But all of those are great, and a lot of those right now are on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
You can go see the Hulu has like a section right now that's like Justice League animated. You can watch like there's like 10 of these movies you can go watch on there.
I think we would be remiss to. Did I use that right? Everybody, can we confirm that?
I don't know
yeah.
yet.
Okay.
I remiss you having the confidence to just say a word.
I
and
think
move on.
that whole segment was a ream miss, but we cannot have a conversation about the Cape Crusader without talking about the best rogue gallery in comics. You know, like there's a reason why they're making a fucking Joker movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like all of Batman's like villains too like play perfectly like off of his character.
That's what I'm saying.
Like from the Scarecrow.
The animated series really helped us.
Oh,
with
yeah.
that stuff. And then that's what I was
Tom
talking
Petty.
Those
He's-
Batman Unlimited cartoons.
Tom Petty. He plays.
Buscemo?
He's the He's the Mad Hatter. In,
There's and then like I mean
in the
some of his
cartoon.
Clayface I love.
you know, Tim Curry
Tim Curry.
originally was going to be. He did the Joker
yeah.
originally in there until they were like, I think we're gonna go with Hamill.
Yeah. Well,
But like they
and that's
recorded a
amazing
couple
that-
episodes. I can't. There might be a better reason why Tim Curry wound up not being the Joker.
Yeah.
But they recorded a couple episodes with him as
that's
it.
cool. He there's so many of those heroes or the villains
Villains.
in there are just so good. And then when Swamp Thing will show up and stuff like that, and Poison Ivy. I mean, I love a redhead. But like all that stuff, it's so crazy.
One of my favorite episodes is one with speaking of the animated series.
Yeah.
That is when it's pretty much just Harley Quinn and the
Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy
Yeah.
just running around.
They have those adventures
causing
by themselves,
mischief
and Joker's
together.
like, "Where's Harley?"
Yeah.
And
And they're like-
"She left you like a month ago."
Yeah, and then he goes.
yeah,
He realizes how important it is because you
It's
don't
really
know what
good.
you got until it's gone, Joker.
yeah, exactly. God damn. Hey, Leif, producer, can I ask you where we at in time for the
We
recording?
are on 38 minutes,
I
32
see it.
seconds.
I just realized I can see it now, so that's great. Now
Joker excluded. Who's your favorite
Bad guy?
Yeah, bad person.
Oh, well, I'll tell you this. I don't know how to say who my favorite is, but on the animated series, I was most excited whenever a Scarecrow episode would pop up.
Ooh, you
Now, I
know,
don't think I love Scarecrow, but I just always was like,
you know who
this
I
is a
love
good
in the
one.
animated series, and I know he's from the comics too. But I can't think of the name, but the Puppet Master.
Puppet
there we
Master's
go.
good, yeah.
Puppet Master's awesome because
Yeah.
it even works on you, where
Yeah.
you're not even caring about the actual
The
Puppet
person,
Master.
they're like, the
the nobody.
idiot. Yeah. There's also there's a great animated series episode where it's the little girl, the actress. Do you know this one? Where there's this little girl, she was an actress, and she was like a child star. And she was on a TV show that went big. Basically, it's like, what if Full House, what if all of a sudden Michelle Tanner
Yeah, went crazy.
went crazy as a grown-up, but she's still a little girl, and she gets Hintman, and she gets the entire cast to come back because that's what
Yeah,
she misses.
I remember
all
that.
But then the way it's shot, the way it's shot, she's always a child. And so it's always this little girl being like, ooh, but then everybody else in the cast has grown up. And then Batman stomps her, and all of a sudden, it's showing like shadows and stuff, and you realize that she's not this little girl. She's actually this grown woman just dressed like a little girl and acting like a little girl. It's so fucking eerie. And the way it's an animated, but the way they shot it, the way they animated it is beautiful. It's really great.
Yeah.
And it's a later episode.
I like the villains again are so good. Two of the best like villain-centric episodes in Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
It's the one where all the villains are sitting around playing poker.
Yes!
And they're talking about
the time they almost got Batman.
And then a good complimentary episode to that is one called The Man Who Killed the Bat.
That's a really good one, too.
Where it's just some average
he thinks
crook,
he killed him.
some nobody
Yeah.
that kills the Batman.
And then everybody's trying to figure out
they're
why.
pissed.
Yeah.
The Joker's getting ready to kill him.
Yeah.
Because he killed the Batman, and he's so
and
pissed.
they all wanted. That's a really good one too.
Yeah.
Now I don't think I told you I did this, but I ended up reaching out to some of the NFers.
And
so
you didn't tell
we got
me.
a little bit
This
of Facebook.
fucking
Is that fine with
bullshit.
you?
You gotta share this shit with
buddy,
me.
you gotta calm down. Oh, shit.
You see that? You see that classic bit?
It's a good one. Okay. This will just be fast. I'm just gonna read down some of the list. I basically just asked.
What's your favorite song written by Prince for Batman?
Yeah. A lot of people say they don't like Bat Dance. No, I said, tell me your favorite Batman things. So I'm going to run through these fast. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Leif?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Patrick. We can edit this whole thing out.
Greg Orm said all of Batman.
Wait, you want this recorded?
Producer joke.
Producer Leif, that's great, buddy. All right.
Listen to all the other podcasts and listen to me tell the same joke every week.
Yeah, now I know this sucks, but cut his mic. No, leave it on. Oh, I would love it if there was a button that would say when the mic got turned on. It's like, beep. Okay. Greg Orm said all of Batman Returns is the best Batman movie. Will Watkins, this panel makes me cry every time, and it's this panel that I'm not going to look at, but that's I see it looks sad.
Is it Batman slapping Robin?
No, it's probably when Batman, when Jason Todd gets... Isn't it Jason Todd that dies?
Uh-huh.
Or Tim Drake. Which one dies?
Todd. Well, he doesn't die. He gets taken to Ra's al Ghul's or Ross.
But at first, you get it. We know.
Ra's al Ghul. That's how I like to say it, but you can also say Ra al Ghul.
I say Ra's al Ghul, and I pretend it's Ra's
Anyways,
Frazier.
They took Jason Todd's body to the Lazarus pits and were able to revive him, and he came back as the Red Hood.
You know that was voted on by fans?
Yeah.
Yeah. The fans, they hated this Robin. Do you know about this? The fans hated the new Robin. When Dick Grayson became Nightwing, they hated the new Robin so much that they put it out to the fans to call these phone numbers, two different phone numbers.
Yeah.
And by 75 calls, they decided
they
to kill
voted
him.
for Joker to beat him to death with a crowbar.
And so Robin got killed, and then Batman just went insane. And then Batman stayed insane for a long time. Not insane.
And now people love the Red Hood.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they brought him back, and they made it. And
He's been Batman before.
Here we go. Okay,
Batman with guns.
Dustin Meadows says the animated series, but specifically the episode Perchance to Dream. And now that's the one where Batman, I believe, wakes up and his
parents are alive. Yeah, and then
but there is a Batman.
I believe the Mad Hatter has him
under like some psychosis shit. And I think Scarecrow's helping in that too.
Yeah.
Then there's Margot Reese. She wrote the New 52 Batman arc Endgame. First issue, Bruce is recovering in a hospital bed when the Justice League, under the influence of Joker venom, attacks him. He takes out nearly everyone as he and Superman fight. Batman defeats
Joker venom,
Superman.
not to be confused with Bane venom.
Gotcha. They plummet out of the sky, and Batman narrates to the reader, so who wins in a fight between Batman and Superman? Easy. No one. Ooh,
I wonder if Will's panel was the one from the end of The Killing Joke.
His panel is this.
Is it rain and laughter?
I don't know how they can see this.
Nope, it's not. Because The Killing Joke has that ambiguous panel at the end of it where it's you're left to wonder if Batman killed the Joker or not.
Yeah. Well, I have a question because I was watching some documentaries to get ready for this. You know, the Batman. What is the one the one that was done in the 80s? The gritty Dark
Knight Returns?
There was sequels to that in the comics world. Did those come out? Because I was seeing this thing and they were like, I
don't remember there ever being sequels.
Well, I feel like
Batman retires and he runs off with the Boy Scouts into the wood.
What's that guy's name? I can't pull his name right now. We've talked about
Frank Miller?
Frank Miller was writing a sequel.
I could go for a Frank and a Miller.
That's great. Mm-hmm. In the middle of him writing the sequel to The Dark Knight, to that comic, in the fucking 9/11 happened. And he's like, I was writing this, and it was like, oh, we're gonna have the Batmobile explode into a building, and he's like, and I just couldn't. And but this documentary I was watching came out like in 2003, and I was wondering, did it ever come out afterwards? And I just didn't. I forgot to Google. Hold on, let me get through some more of these. Hattie Hayes, friend of the show, fan of the show, real in ever said. Alfred in the Telltale games, he's well-rounded, so vital to the story, and really captures what makes the character memorable. We didn't even talk about that. The Lego games are so fucking good.
We didn't even talk about the Lego Batman movie.
Which is also phenomenal.
Easily, I'm thinking about it at the top of the show, but you picked out a stupid list of Batman movies that didn't include most of the movies.
I'm going to come across the table if you say one more thing about it. This is a Samsung.
I'm just saying, Lego Batman is easily one of my favorite Batman movies, especially it takes the piss out of the whole stupid...
Yes.
I mean, I like those movies too, but it's also like what we were talking about. It takes the piss out of like the Snyderverse.
Oh, the Snyderverse.
And all that shit.
Yes.
Where it's just like, Batman isn't... He needs his friends. He's not this fucking stupid, brooding... dude all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Give me some Batgirl. Give me some Robin.
That's why
and also Zach Galifianakis as the Joker.
Yep.
So good.
And
it leans
Doug
in.
Benson is Bane, based on him doing his dumb fucking Bane impression on Doug Lowe's movies.
God, that movie's so good.
It's great.
Yeah.
I
mean, Batman in Will Arnett.
Yeah. We didn't really talk about in this episode. We did a Justice League episode.
Yeah.
But Batman in the Justice League episodes was like that. He needed people sometimes. He needed Wonder Woman. He needed Superman.
That's the whole arc
and
behind
I love anytime
Lego Batman.
Anytime Green Arrow and Batman are together in any medium, I love it. I love their energies together. It's really good. Larry Fulford said Jack Nicholson is the Joker is his favorite.
Top 3 Joker.
Also, still think that's the most quotable movie, and he also says he's a poser. Colin Taylor says Tom King's run that is happening now is pretty great. Well, that's exciting. Right now there's a current series coming out that's great. Tyler Snodgrass says the graphic novel The Long Halloween, especially how Tim Sale draws villains. Ooh, I gotta get into these comics one of these days. Alex Murray says The Penguin's Funeral and Batman Returns is one of the finest things committed to celluloid. Ooh. That's
also Christopher Walken's really great.
Is he a voice in that?
He's the main bad guy in Batman Returns.
I guess you're right. I thought you meant in one of in the Penguin Funeral one. In 1989, John Melancini from your show, the 1994 The Podcast, said Batman 1989 Batman Returns. Oh my God, what happened? I lost it. He said are 2 of his favorite movies. He still has the McDonald's cup from Batman Returns with the Frisbee lid and the animated series, of course. And he also loves Mask of the Phantasm, which is why you two run a fucking podcast together. Brett Hiker, friend of the show, fan of the show, real NFer, said his favorite Batman thing is the Batman movie scale, which has replaced the concept of letter grades in my mind. For example, last night I had a real Batman Forever set. I like that. You get what I'm saying? You know, it makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
You crush, you're like, oh boy, that was like the Dark Knight. You know, and you fucking eat the worst, and you're like, ugh, goddamn.
Or you did great, and nobody appreciated it, so you had the Mask of the Phantasm set.
Yes! Oh, I love it. I wonder how detailed it is. That's what I'm interested in. And then the last quote I got from an NFer, the last reference point I got, it comes from a friend of the show, fan of the show, a real shiro, if you will, Kathy Humes, who said Adam West Batman is great, and the Schumacher Batmans are underrated.
Yeah.
She calls them underrated. Well, she's younger. Mm-hmm. You know, everything's all about when you brought it up.
Now, did you, Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey are both pretty good. And
yeah, they're great. Tommy Lee Jones has never been bad.
Now, have you, have you seen the animated Batman 66 movie?
Yes. There's 2 of them. They're both great. They're both on Amazon Prime as well. So good. Prime. It's so good. And I didn't, because if you don't know, there's the DC universe.
If you don't know, now you know.
Yeah. But there's also the DC animated film universe. A lot of these cartoons we've been talking about the whole time. But there were all separate. So it's like their stories didn't connect. And then now they're kind of starting to connect. And they're really good. And it's really interesting the way they're doing it. But I just thought I was going to watch another Batman cartoon like that. Like one I hadn't seen. I didn't realize anything. And then when I started hearing Adam West, I was like, holy fuck, this rules.
Yeah.
And now there's a second one too. And now he's dead, so they probably, I don't know, maybe they did another one, but go ahead.
Oh, that's it. Did you ever play any of the Arkham games?
No, but I've watched a lot because
they look fun. I have a hard time.
I am. I've watched a bunch of them on YouTube. I've watched a bunch of playthroughs and stuff.
The stories are really good. too. They won a shitload of awards. I
Yeah.
just never played them, but I
wanna
felt
get one.
it would be a remiss if I didn't bring it up.
Sure. I like Remiss. We're gonna use that a lot on the show. I love the Lego Batman video games. Those are some of my favorite games. Also, as I've said, Stacey and I play them, so it's so fun to get to.
You guys should pick up a Lego set and make a date night out of it.
We've literally talked about it. Because
I used to do that with my ex. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Put a record on.
I don't know. That didn't go so well with you, so maybe I don't. I don't know.
Went pretty good.
I don't know maybe it was Lego that caused it. We don't know. We're so good with the video games. Maybe that's why she's your ex. But no, we have highly talked about doing this because.
What about soberly?
We have talked about having Lego video games.
Lego Day.
Or Lego.
You go buy a
video games.
Batmobile and you hang out together.
Yes,
it's a lot of fun.
I get it. We've talked about it. We've had conversations about it. Also, I just think it seems fun.
Also,
she loves puzzles.
Yeah, she's
know?
a fucking architect.
Yeah, and I love pulling on my rod, and she can build the one thing, and I'll building the other one. I feel like that's a good place to end.
Yeah, typically.
Reem, why don't you tell the NFers where they can find you on the internet?
You NFers, well, let me tell you where you can find me. You can grab that keyboard that you warrior on, and you can...
What'd you say?
I don't know.
That you warrior on?
I don't know. Edit
Is
that out.
Leif,
let's start over.
If that shows up, let's start all over. Hold on.
All right, and
Stop.
audio, go.
You can find me...
Thank you for listening to the Nostalgia
Oh, that's
Front.
where we're going? Anyways, you can find me on those internets. Type Reamcore in there.
REAMKORE.
That's right, and any old thing, and you'll find KOR me, Brandon. Also, check out my other podcast, 1994 The Podcast. We did talk about Batman Forever on there because that came out in 94. No, it didn't. It came out in 95.
So
Kiss from a
you
Rose.
Forgot if you talked about a thing on
we could
the
do
show.
that karaoke at the end. No, we're not.
What?
We don't do that anymore.
We do that, but we're not going to do it on this one.
Okay.
Ooh, Batman and Robin soundtrack. Great. Hold Me,
Is
Thrill
it?
Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me. Isn't that from that? No.
You too?
No. Batman and Robin soundtrack had. Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Anyways, also you can
Stop. Bone Thugs and Harmony is on there. It was The End is the Beginning is the End. That's the song I'm thinking of. I love that soundtrack. I listen to it all the time.
I think that other one was from Mission Impossible 2, that U2 song.
Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me is from Batman Returns or Batman Forever.
I don't know. That movie didn't get enough returns anyways, or else they would have made a third Tim Burton movie.
Maybe
I saw that at the drive-in.
Did Smashing Pumpkins do The End is the Beginning is the End? And then
they did Tonight.
The first song on the album is The
Can
End
I
is
finish
the
my
Beginning is the
plugs?
End, and then the last song is The Beginning is the End is the Beginning. Ooh. Yeah, is the joke that it's like an eclipse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I didn't get what it was, and I was just like, they're not a sponsor. They're just some gum I like.
Hey, do you know how
I said gum with a G.
Hey, Leif, do you know how an astronaut cuts his hair?
Nope.
Eclipse it! Boom! Also, check out
For your...
House of Bricks Comedy, second Friday of every month at Precious Metal.
Yeah, baby.
I'm Brandon Ream.
I am Brandon Ream. Leif, what about you? What do you got coming up, bud?
You can find
What do you want to plug?
Go to Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Bear with Leif,
Yeah.
and check out BrainMachineNetwork.com. There's a lot of really great shows going on
Of
over
course.
there.
We
And,
love 'em.
It's the whole thing is great. I really can't say it enough.
UFOlogy. Narcissistas. I don't know if any of this is showing up.
It's real out of focus. But
Yeah.
there's a it continues to grow,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of really great stuff. So I really highly recommend going over there and checking it out because we are growing very quickly. We got a lot of fun stuff coming on. And there's
Yeah.
even more shows coming in the next couple months.
Fun
so
stuff.
Go check it out.
You can follow me at Patrick Hasty. That's at PatrickHastie. PatrickHasty.com for upcoming shows. I'm going to be in September. I'll be in Detroit. In August, I'll be in Boston. No, September, October, I'll be in Boston. November, I'll be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Also, some other stuff that I'm not mentioning. Check that out. Jackknife Comedy, the first Saturday of every month at the Creek in the Cave. The next one, which will be September 1st, is great. We got Ophira Eisenberg from NPR's Ask Me Another. It's going to be a really good episode. I mean, a really good show. We also have 7 other amazing comedians, as we always do. Tyrannosaurus Comedy every Tuesday. I don't know if anybody wants to go to a weird bar show. You can listen to the podcast all over the internet. Tell your friends. If you're on Stitcher, leave us a positive review. If you're on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, leave us a positive review. just tell your friends. If you want, you can go buy a T-shirt. Those are available on our Teespring. You can see that all at our Twitter, or, wherever. Buy a T-shirt. If you can't give us money to buy a T-shirt, you want to go to the Patreon. Go to the Patreon, patreon.com/nostalgiafront, where you see all sorts of cool stuff. Be cool, never die, and remember, if you're not an NFer,
well, you're an MFer. So get the fuck out of here. All right, good stuff.
Sick, baby. That was a good one. Where we're at, 55? Cool. That's fun. You think those are the best one ever? I thought it was really good. Fucking dogs. What?
Welcome to BrainMachineNetwork.com.